enjoying yourself?
This is so much fun. This is so much fun! Ah! Okay, I'm done.
Hey everyone! So this tutorial is actually part of an amazing collaboration with Winterfall188 on Instagram. She asked me if I wanted to join in the DC unit superhero / Marvel supervillain kind of collaboration. So I asked my best friend Ella, who is my lovely model today, and you may recognize her from my Bloody Mary tutorial.
Which will be linked somewhere in the description.
True. And I asked her to be literally the bae of the DC unit, the amazing and marvelous Harley Quinn. And of course I had to ask her because she is obsessed with this character.
Oh, thank you, Puddin'.
Oh my god. So I really hope you guys enjoy this makeup tutorial, and if you do, please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also you can follow me on any other social media, which the links will be down below, as well as a list of the products I used. So without further ado, let's continue with the video.
Yay!
Yeah. So the first thing I did was to block out my model's eyebrows using nose and scar wax on a spatula, but you can use a glue stick if that's what you have at hand. I just use nose and scar wax because for me it tends to work a little bit better. And then I took Mehron's body paint in white and I airbrushed the makeup on her face. I decided to use an airbrush because at the end, when I'm done with the makeup, it just tends to be a lot smoother than when I use a brush, especially since I'm using white makeup. White tends to be really streaky if you use a brush, so I decided to use an airbrush for this. And then I'm using Mehron setting powder to set the entire makeup, and then I brushed off all the excess powder. After that, I took a black eyeshadow and contoured her cheekbones, and then I took a makeup wipe and just ran it through the edges of her face to have more of a mask-like finish. For the mask, you can do whatever you want, but just keep in mind that you will be using two colors for the mask. I used black and red for the mask since those are Harley's original colors, and what I did was that I did one side opposite to the other. So the top half of the mask on one side is going to be black, and the bottom half of that side is going to be red. And then on the other side is going to be opposite colors, so the top will be red and the bottom half will be black. So just keep in mind when you're doing the mask. Also, if you're using red body paint on top of the white, just make sure that you do at least 2 or 3 good layers, because at first it will mix with the white and it will create a pink. Then after that, I took a black eyeshadow to set the makeup on the black upper part of the side of the mask, and on the other side I wanted to create a beauty smoky eye, but as you can see I suck at beauty makeup, so I just had my model do her own beauty makeup in that part. Then I took red body paint and started painting Harley's red side of the onesie. As you can see, I already did one side, but it's all basically the exact same steps. All you need is different colors. Now, what I did here was, again, just take red body paint, paint that side. Make sure that you don't leave any areas of skin showing, so if you have to color the entire, if you're gonna do like front and back, make sure that you cover the underarm as well as the armpits and everything. And here I'm just doing the front side, so I didn't even bother going to the back. But as you can see, I am having a little bit of difficulty painting on top of the clothes, so just make sure that if you are doing the same thing, painting on top of clothes, that you do at least a few good layers of the paint, or else it will just seep through the cloth and it won't show up as good. For the color, I was gonna use a brush for it, but it was turning out really streaky, so I just used an airbrush and that gave me a smoother finish. For the wrinkles on Harley's onesie, what I did was to take some black body paint, or you can just use a black eyeshadow, but I just took the black body paint because it was right next to me. And then I just faded those out using a dry brush, and then on top I just used white body paint to add a little bit more highlight. Remember, highlight and shadow is key to realistic makeup, so just keep that in mind. To add a lot more dimension, I just used a black eyeshadow and made it look as if the color was casting a shadow on top of the onesie, as well as add a few wrinkles in the color itself. And also on the edges of the color, I just did a little shadow to make it look more three-dimensional. So as you can see, I added that black eyeshadow a centimeter away from the edge of the color to make it look like there's really an edge there, as well as add a few more wrinkles in the color itself and define those wrinkles I did on the onesie. For the diamonds on Harley's onesie, what I did was that I did these stencils out of paper and just cut some diamonds in them, and then I had my assistant here hold the stencil in my model's arm, and I just airbrushed black body paint on top of that, and once we removed the stencil out of the way, it left the impression of the diamonds I airbrushed on her body, and I just continued doing that all over the red side of her body. Yes, it is a bit difficult to airbrush the makeup on, especially on areas with curves like the elbows, like around the arm, around her chest, but if you can have an assistant with you or someone to hold the stencil in place, it's not going to be that difficult. So in here, I just took some white body paint and I drew the seam line where the bodice of the onesie meets the sleeve, as well as add a few more wrinkles, and then continued doing the same process I was doing on the red side, only I used white body paint for this. For the lips, I used black body paint for the top lip, and I did the little Joker flicks at the end to resemble more of a smile, and then on the bottom lip, I just used a red body paint. After that, I airbrushed one of her pigtails red and the other pigtail in black. Now you can totally stop here if you want, but if you want a slightly more horrifying version of Harley, what you could do is to take some really watered down makeup and just make it look like the makeup is running off her face. So make sure like her mask is running off her face. I also made it look like she was losing the color on her lips, so just make sure that her makeup, you know, was on point once, but then she started sweating and crying and just going insane, and it started running off and getting everywhere. If you want to take it a step further, what you could do is to take some really watered down red water based makeup or some fake blood and just splatter it on the body. You know, just make it look like she just went on a killing spree and just killed a whole bunch of people, like she doesn't care if she has blood on top of herself. Cover your hand up in some fake blood or whatever you're using, just smudge it there. And, you know, just have fun, go nuts, cover that ish up, and there's your Harley. Is you enjoying yourself, bro?
Yes. Wait, look. Model. Pretend this is a lot of wind.